Number 10. Lip balm. Lip Balm Anonymous is a website created by people who want lip balm addiction to be officially recognized by experts. According to the website, those who manufacture lip balm use enticing flavors which encourage people to lick their lips. This in turn causes the lips to dry up and the person to use the product even more. There's reportedly no psychological cause for lip balm addiction. Regardless, many people claim to be completely addicted to it and experience withdrawal symptoms that consist of dry and chapped lips. They also claim that using lip balm gives them pleasure and is psychologically addictive. Number 9. Breastfeeding. Breastfeeding reportedly has a chance of becoming addictive both for the child and the mother. It releases oxytocin, also known as the hormone of love, which may be associated with feelings of security, empathy, and trust. Oxytocin can make people more cooperative as well as increase trust among them, and may even play a role in increasing the social skills of autistic people. When the mother stops breastfeeding, it can be somewhat uncomfortable and sometimes painful for her, yet the addictive factor lies in the hormonal and emotional aspects. Withdrawal symptoms can include anxiety, depression, and detachment from the child. Actress Selma Hayek once compared breastfeeding to alcohol addiction and claimed that she just couldn't stop doing it. In 2009, she drew a significant amount of media attention after she breastfed a starving baby in Sierra Leone. Number 8. Hair pulling. Also known as trichotillomania, this is a type of impulse control disorder that involves the need to pull one's hair. Whether it's the crown of the head, the scalp, eyebrows, eyelashes, or any other part of the body, an overwhelming need to pull the hair is present. More than 5% of Americans reportedly suffer from compulsive hair pulling. However, some argue that the statistics are actually much higher. Many people have a tendency to cover up bald patches with makeup, wigs, or caps. Some sufferers go in a trance-like state as they're pulling out their hair. Sometimes, when they feel tense or anxious, hair pulling becomes the only form of relief or pleasure. Aside from pulling, those suffering from trichotillomania may also chew on their hair. Number 7. Bibliomania. Not to be confused with bibliophilia, which is described as the unusual love of reading books. Bibliomania is the compulsion to obtain books. Bibliomanes will buy or sometimes even steal multiple copies of the same book. It's not really about use, enjoyment, or the value of the book itself. It's simply an addiction to having as many books as possible. Symptoms of bibliomania often include cluttered shelves or hoarding books to the point where social relations or health are damaged. Even though it's not officially recognized as a disease, the term has been around since 1809. It was coined by John Ferrier, a physician at the Manchester Royal Infirmary, in a poem to a bibliomane friend. Stephen Blumberg, also known as the Book Bandit, is the world's most famous bibliomane. He's responsible for the largest book theft in US history. Upon his arrest in 1990, Blumberg's collection featured more than 23,600 books, some of which were very valuable. Blumberg had stolen the books from more than 268 museums and universities, and his collection was estimated at $5.3 million. He served 4.5 years and returned to his book stealing ways shortly after his release. Number 6. Bleachorexia. Taking care of our teeth is a fundamental aspect of staying healthy, but for some people, it can turn into quite an obsession. This particularly refers to how white the teeth are, and for those who suffer from bleachorexia, they're never quite white enough. They will use whiteners much more frequently than other people, and may also constantly talk about whether their teeth are looking discolored. This obsession can lead to them using whitening products to the point that their teeth gain a bluish coloration, becoming fluorescent bright or even translucent. The negative effects associated with bleachorexia include sensitivity, brittleness, bleeding gums, or the weakening of enamel to the point that the teeth need to be replaced. Number 5. Exercise. Exercise is essential for a lot of reasons, and it's hard to imagine how something so beneficial can be detrimental to one's life. As it is with most things, the key is balance. People that work out compulsively will often ignore other aspects of their lives, putting exercise above relationships, work, and even their own health. Some will work out to the point of injury and then continuing to do so without allowing time for recovery. That's something that even professional athletes who exercise for a living don't do. Some experts argue that the compulsive drive to exercise can sometimes overpower a person's ability to recognize the limits of their bodies. This can result in severe injury and, in rare cases, even death. Number 4. Plastic surgery. Since we live in a society that tends to focus on appearance, it's not surprising that the number of people getting plastic surgery is on the rise each year. While getting breast implants or rhinoplasty is not uncommon, for some people, surgery becomes an obsession. The addiction to getting plastic surgery is tightly linked with a mental illness called body dysmorphic disorder, or BDD. It usually starts in adolescence and affects both men and women with symptoms that include anxiety, depression, and isolation. People who suffer from BDD obsessively think about their physical appearance and will repeatedly attempt to fix what they perceive as flaws. Sufferers might also experience delusions that people are secretly pointing out their flaws. This obsessive drive can lead to numerous cosmetic surgeries, regardless of the impact they have on a person's health or finances. People often don't want to talk about it because they fear the stigma of vanity, and the disorder sometimes goes unsuspected even by psychiatrists. It's one of the reasons why BDD has high rates of suicidal thoughts and suicidal attempts. Number 3. Tattoos and body modification. There's a saying that goes, tattoos are like potato chips. You can't have just one. Whether tattoos make people feel rebellious, more confident, or more attractive, this type of body art is definitely on the rise. It's a known fact that tattoos and other forms of body modification can become an addiction, and the reason for that is pain. Whether the modification includes piercings, tattoos, scarring, or various types of implants, the common factor is some amount of pain, which in turn releases endorphins. These chemicals are described as the body's natural pain fighter. It's like a type of morphine that the body produces as a response. Aside from pain management, endorphins have other contributions, such as moderating appetite, releasing sex hormones, or producing feelings of euphoria. These chemicals, combined with a person's need for self-expression, can eventually develop body modification into an addiction. One extreme example is that of Dennis Avner, also known as Stalking Cat. He spent a fortune over the course of several years to make himself look like a cat. He even had his teeth filed and whiskers implanted into his cheeks. After his suicide in 2012, some medical professionals wondered if he'd suffered from BDD. Number 2. Pica. This psychological disorder is described as a craving for non-food substances that don't really have any nutritional value. The condition is called pica from the Latin word for magpie, a bird that will eat almost anything. Since it often tends to focus on a specific substance, it's often likened to addiction. It could be caused by the deficiency of certain nutrients, low levels of red blood cells, low hemoglobin concentration, as well as OCD, schizophrenia, and other mental disorders. In certain regions, pica is a cultural practice. One example is eating dirt or clay, also known as geophagia, which is common in several cultures. Pica takes many forms that are both disgusting and dangerous. Some people eat feces, which can cause infections, hair, which can cause intestinal obstruction, or paint, which can lead to lead poisoning. Others have an appetite for metal, glass, or stones. The risks are abundant and may result in perforated intestines, blockage, or even death. Among the strangest forms that the condition takes, there's mucophagia, eating mucus, coniophagia, eating dust, or cortopyriophagia, eating burnt matches. Pica is not only restricted to eating unusual items. It can also include vampirism, drinking blood, or urophagia, drinking urine. Number 1. Tanning. Sunbathing offers a natural euphoria that people can become addicted to. According to a 2005 study conducted by the University of Texas Medical Branch in Galveston, over 50% of beachgoers could be considered tanning addicts. Whether it's done through natural sunlight or a salon, tanning is a high-risk activity due to its known connection to skin cancers. Even though most people know this, they still find it hard to give up the activity. The term used in reference to people addicted to tanning is tanorexic. The activity can be a mood enhancer through exposure to ultraviolet rays from the sun or a tanning bed. The body makes endorphins, which in turn induce a state of feeling good. Tanorexics can experience psychological symptoms of withdrawal whenever deprived of the mood-boosting chemicals they get through tanning. Aside from the risk of skin cancer, there are also negative effects like skin aging and dehydration. Tanorexia gained mainstream attention because of Patricia Krentsil, a woman who became known as Tan Mom. In 2012, a nurse from her daughter's preschool called child services on her because she believed that Krentsil was taking her 6-year-old to a tanning salon. The woman was eventually found not to be guilty of the accusation, but by then, she was already known nationally for her tanning obsession.